Hey there, Web 101. Welcome to an introduction to programming related to the internet, which is probably better known as HTML and CSS. In this class, we will learn the basics of HTML and CSS, and we will be able to, in however long the course is, 8 weeks, we will be able to have you create web pages that look modern, that are scalable for the size of the device that they are being viewed on. So here on a desktop, there on a tablet, and there, I guess, on a smartphone. In addition to that, we will also see just a host of design considerations that go into making not just web pages, but all sorts of digital media. We'll see the design considerations that make all of those work and look good and function well and get people's attention. Just a couple of things here before you dive into the rest of the material. Number one, I know I published the course yesterday and you already received a message, and this is largely a little bit repetitive of some of the things that you will see otherwise in our Eagle course shell. But I know that if I publish a course too early or too late, you all will tend to ignore these messages. So I wanted to make sure to hit you here in the sweet spot the day the course starts, so that maybe, just maybe, you might pay attention. Number one, you absolutely positively will need the textbook. You can get it with us in the bookstore. It is a slightly older textbook. I do that to keep the prices down. And because the material still is all perfectly pertinent and useful. So you will need that. You will need it this week. I will not, because of how short the course is, let you drag your feet out into sessions 2 and 3 before the textbook arrives. Don't choose the shipping where they strap the book on the back of like a wandering donkey and let it go all throughout the Americas before it finally gets to you sometime in mid-July, because by then you're screwed. Don't do that. Get the book ASAFP, because this week, the first week with all the material, is going to be the one that feels the hardest, like you're pushing a rock up the steepest hill, because you are probably just getting to know the language. And this is something that I truly believe. So having just said that, let me follow that up with a little bit of a palate cleanser here. I truly believe, with all of the languages that I have seen, that HTML and CSS is, number one, the most reflexive. As soon as you start typing things, you see a result, and that result has a full page worth of output. And really, once you get rolling with HTML and CSS, because you already know the language, you just have to get to know the keywords and the syntax here. Once you get rolling, it really is the fastest language to, up and running. But the first week, because we'll be using a code editor, we'll be using one called Brackets. There are download links for you. I believe it's on this side here in Eagle. So you'll be able to use that. There's an install walkthrough. There's my favorite ways to set it up. There's all of that good stuff here in Eagle for you. So that will take a little bit of time. Getting used to it will take a little bit of time. Getting, the keywords and the syntax and the language will take time. So do not delay in getting that book. It's a tactic I know students love to employ, but it doesn't work, and I am completely immune to it. So no, don't try that shit. Get the book. You needed it. And you probably already, oh shoot, maybe I should have. So those are the things to know for that. The next thing to know is there are announcements that will point you at Module 1. Module 1 and all of the modules are built from top to bottom so that you can progress through them linearly and get everything that I think you will need to know in order to be successful. One of the things you'll see there is the PowerPoint presentations that are the accompaniment to the textbook. Those are up to you whether or not you go through them. All of the material I have in there are things that you might use to be successful. So there are recorded lectures akin to what you're seeing now. You're going to need those to be successful. There are code walkthroughs where I actually have a screen capture of brackets, it turns out, and you'll be able to follow along with a base piece of code and turn it into a larger block of code and see what the classes and the IDs and the tags that we are using are actually going to be able to do. All of that stuff is in there. You are going to need those to be successful. You are going to need the text to be successful, because not 50%, but 30-ish% of the homework actually comes from there. So you need that as well. And some of you are going to have grown so accustomed to using the PowerPoint presentations that accompany the text that that's going to be an important piece to your success in the course. There they are. If that's not you, those are really ancillary. They're extra pieces there, and that is up to you. So that's just a quick note on what you see there and what to expect there. Just in what is due here in the first session, because I know that for many of you who have stuck through this video, however long it is, I cannot see that far to see the counter, because this light has blinded me. But the homework is the only important carrot and stick that we are using here. There is an intro discussion that goes for everybody. There is a quiet intro that goes between you and me. So even though many of the questions are the same, the audience is different, and because the audience is different, there's certain things that you don't want to share with the wider audience, and there's those might be things that will help me help you with the course material. So you'll be able to see and read in the description what that all means. So even if they feel similar, they are, but the audience is different, and I think that is important. You will also have, due by the end of session 1, chapters 2 and 4. There are hands-on practices and there are case studies, and there's actually a video description on what both of those are as well, back over here in Eagle, so I don't want to repeat myself here. The very last thing before I let you go is, if you have a question, reach out sooner rather than later. I know I say this in the syllabus video, I'll say this in the syllabus supplement video, I'll say this in the homework video, is I would rather have a question from a student that is not entirely baked, and that's fine. We'll work through it in short order. I would rather do that than wait until you have wasted a lot of time, you have grown frustrated, and you have melted down in a nuclear like explosion very nearly. Nobody wins when that happens. I have to try extra hard to get you back. You have to try extra hard to get you back. And all that time in frustration doesn't pay out. Reach out. On the homepage in Eagle, you will find my email address, the messages through Eagle. You will also find my honest to goodness cell number there. That will hit me here and actually on all of my devices. One quick note on that. Let me know, number one, who you are and what class it is that you are texting me from, because if you ask me a question, hey, what's due this week? Well, I don't know. I'm teaching 4 classes, and you could be from the lunatic fringe out there in the internet where all the friggin' weirdos are, and my number is out there, so weirdos find my number. I don't need any more of that. Let me know who you are. The other thing you can tell by the desk over here, which is clearly too small for me, is I have a little guy here, and if you wake him up, I will deliver to you a swift and terrible justice. So let's keep it between the 8s. So after 8 a.m. and before 8 p.m. will prevent me from going nuclear on you, which is good, but it will also assure that you can get an answer back out of me. And if it happens to be outside of the hours of 8 and 8, just shoot me a message, shoot me an email, and I will get back to it first thing, whatever tomorrow would be, tomorrow morning. So those are the things in this entirely lengthy introduction to Web 101. Sorry, guys, this went long. And if you need anything, don't hesitate to reach out. Otherwise, head back there and start 101.